What's going on, guys? This is the Talking Sports podcast with Adam and Alec coming at you with episode 29. On this week's episode, we are doing part 5 of 6 of our MLB divisional previews. This week, we are featuring the NL Central. This is a division that produced 2 playoff teams last year. The Milwaukee Brewers ended up winning the division, and the St. Louis Cardinals ended up going to the wild card where they got beat by the Dodgers. But other than that, this division isn't really anything to write home about. You have 2 bottom feeders with Chicago and Pittsburgh, and then a mediocre team in Cincinnati. Adam, what is your take on this division as a whole?
Yeah, like you said, you got the 2 top teams in the Cardinals and the Brewers being the, contending teams, you could say. You got the average team, not quite there, and then they ended up losing a lot of people this offseason, the Reds. And then you got the bottom feeders, Cubs and Pirates, who aren't really in contention. But I mean, I guess you could say the Cardinals and Brewers had they had solid seasons last season, and I could very well see them do it again this coming year.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll kick things off with the Pittsburgh Pirates like we always do, the worst team first. Last year, they went 61 and 101. They finished a whopping 34 games back at first place. Looking at this team, I feel like they have decent players on their team. Colin Wong's all right. Adam Frazier is all right. Jacob Stallings isn't a terrible catcher, but I don't know. What's your looking at the roster? What is your first reaction to it? I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at stats, and Adam Frazier hit 324. I read that wrong. Sorry, 324. I mean, that's pretty solid at second base. Hitting, he only hit 4 home runs, but 32 RBIs. How many games? He only played 98 games. Did he have an injury?
I feel like he did.
Yeah. So not having him full season hurt them definitely. Colin Moran, like you said, he had a really solid season. He only played 99 games. Is he a young guy, or did he?
He was 28.
28. Yeah.
Someone I forgot to mention was Brian Reynolds. He had the most home runs for the team with 24.
24, yeah.
Other than that, only 2 other guys got double-digit home runs. So that's something. We see a lot of home runs in the game nowadays.
Not a lot of offensive firepower from this lineup.
Yeah, nowadays you need the home run totals, and this lineup didn't really produce it much last year.
Yeah.
Looking at the pitching, not great, not too good.
Not good.
No. Looks like Tyler Anderson would be considered the best pitcher on this roster in the rotation with a 4.35 ERA.
And going 5-8.
Yeah.
That is not good.
Yeah, lineup rotation needs a lot of help.
And we say it every week, but it really matters. I mean, if you want to be a good team and contend, you got to have great pitching and, great rotation, great bullpen. It's getting redundant, but I mean, it's true. All the good teams are good in this area, and it pays off.
I'm kind of surprised they won as many games as they did with this roster.
Yeah, me too.
Honestly,
that's pretty not good.
No, looking at it, looks like a Baltimore or Arizona roster, to be honest. Not as
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I actually got to see this team play, and they won on a walk-off walk against the Braves over the summer. It was a fun game to be at. But you wouldn't expect this team to beat the Braves, but it's baseball. You never know what's going to happen.
Just 61 wins for this roster is, I don't know.
And they have not been good for a while. The last time they made the postseason was 2015. And I think they made it 2013, 2014, 2015. Like with McCutchen, they made it 3 years in a row. And then before that, they hadn't made the postseason since 1992. So this team has not been good recently in the last 20 years.
Long history of being bad.
Yes.
All right. So we go from one long history of being bad to another team that had a history of not winning World Series until few years back, 2016, I think.
Yep, 2016.
The Chicago Cubs ended up finishing fourth, 71 and 91, 24 games back. They kind of blew up their roster at the
They
end.
definitely did.
And especially in the offseason. Rizzo went to the Yankees. Baez was traded. Peterson was traded. Chris Bryant was traded. We can probably see some more. Those are just the ones off the top of my head.
Right.
It's kind of normal going throughout a couple years where you have these guys come up super young, all-star abilities, and you win a championship or you get to that point in the playoffs. And then a few years later, you have to ship them off because you're not going to go anywhere with them. And that's kind of where Chicago was last year.
Right. Yeah. They definitely were. They definitely not the same Cubs team anymore that we were used to seeing,
One bright spot, though, is Patrick Wisdom. He went off for 28 home runs last year, playing third base majority of the time since Chris Bryant went to San Francisco. Wilson Contreras, pretty sure he's still there, but he had 21 home runs playing 128 games at the catching position, which doesn't seem like a lot for another position, but 128 games for a catcher is pretty solid. It's above average, I would say.
And that's, I think, the second highest on the team games. So obviously a lot of these guys in their lineup last season weren't there half the season, but
the other guy you mentioned with the most games played is Ian Happ. He played 158 games there. He had 25 home runs. They have players that were at one point the guys, and now they're kind of cycling through their career towards kind of up on the hill, about to go down the hill.
Yeah.
But obviously there's teams that need that certain type of players. So at least they were able to get something in return for them.
Right. Yeah. Now this team's got to rebuild and start looking for the future, like you mentioned.
We talked about the lineup quite a bit. Let's look at the rotation real quick. Not a really solid rotation at all.
You see Kyle Hendrix winning 14 games, but having a 4.7 ERA. So not the best.
Yeah. And, there's always a thing about the win-loss means so much. I don't really think the win-loss for a pitcher matters.
Right. Yeah.
I lean more on the ERA because of
I agree.
A ton of run support, but you still got a 4.77 ERA. So definitely a rotation that needs some improvements.
These guys, Hendrix and Arietta, who just a couple years ago were the top of the league, it seemed like now we're way past their prime.
For sure. And Hendrix, he's one of those throwback pitchers. He has a lot of control, doesn't really throw hard. Gets a lot of ground balls too. So
yeah,
kind of weird seeing his ERA go that high with how he pitches, but
it is. Yeah,
I don't know.
He gave up 31 tanks also.
And he pitched, how many games he pitched? He
started 32. Yeah.
All in game.
Man. That's rough.
I wonder how that compares to other pitchers around the league. I have to look at that going forward.
Yeah, definitely.
Next up is the Cincinnati Reds. They went 83 and 79, finishing 12 games back. This was a team that they were kind of interesting last year. I feel like they were in the media quite a bit, mainly because of Jesse Winker and Nick Castellanos. Both of those guys. I'm pretty sure Winker, I don't know if it was a month or a span of a couple of weeks where he just went off with so many home runs back to back. And obviously Joey Votto's been there since forever. He also had 36 home runs last year.
That's insane. At 37 years old.
Yeah. And he's still there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Mentioning Castellanos had 34. Eugenio Suarez had 31. And I'm pretty sure 3 of those 4 guys we just talked about are now off of the roster. Castellanos signed with Philly. I hope I got that right.
That sounds right.
Suarez and Winker went to Seattle, didn't they?
Oh, man.
Now I feel stupid. We're literally supposed to know this stuff, not just.
I know, right?
Uh,
I know Sonny Gray, their pitcher, got traded too when we get to the rotation. But like a couple years ago, I can't remember who all they traded for. I know they got Puig. I remember that. They got Sonny Gray. And like I kind of thought this team could make a push to get into the playoffs, you know?
right. Yeah. Mariners, Reds trade. Seattle acquired Jesse Winker and Eugenio Suarez.
Yeah.
Happy I got that right. I was worried for a little bit.
So that was Suarez and Winker.
Yes.
I mean, they hit 55 bombs combined between the two of them. So that's a lot of offensive power there. Winker hit 305.
Right. I love how a couple weeks ago we talked about the AL West and saying Seattle was going to drop off.
Yeah.
And then like 2 days after that video, they go out and do this trade.
It seemed like every video right after something crazy's happened.
Okay.
And like, oh, well, what we said isn't right now.
Yeah, look at Philly. They signed Kyle Schwarber and Castellanos like the weekend after our video. So probably someone's going to sign someone in this division that's just going to blow it up. So
They have to wait till our podcast and then they'll start signing people.
we're good for something. We caused a lot of moves apparently.
Yep.
But another bright spot in this roster is Jonathan India, the 24-year-old. He hit 21 home runs, 34 doubles. I feel like he was a rookie last year. If not, it was his second year, but pretty good campaign for a young guy.
Played almost the whole season too. That's good.
150 games. And he's the second baseman, so there's not too many great second basemen in the league. And if he's able to establish him as one of the top 5, he's going to have a really successful career.
Yeah, he's definitely the bright spot of this lineup at 24.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if he can keep another season like this coming season, I mean, this guy can be the dude for them.
Yeah, and then looking at the rotation we mentioned earlier, this isn't a great rotation, but it's a lot better than the last 2 rotations we've looked at. You had 3 guys with sub-4 ERAs. 3.98 from your ace isn't great, but it's a lot better than the 4.77 from your ace.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you pair those ERAs with the offensive firepower they're getting from 4 or 5 guys, it's obvious why they're a third-place team and not 4th or 5th or 1st or 2nd.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm pretty sure Amir Garrett is on a different team. I think I saw his post saying goodbye to Cincinnati. I might be wrong, though. I can't keep up with all the stuff going on right now.
It's hard to. There's a lot going on. Thanks to the lockout.
So hopefully this time next year when we're doing this whole thing, we're more prepared because it'll all be happening before.
Yes. Yep.
But Tyler Mail. We'll just call him Tyler.
Maul?
Is it Maul? That name confuses me every time I try to say it.
I'm not sure.
We'll call him Tyler. He went 13-6 last year with a 3.75 ERA. Had 210 strikeouts, by far the highest on the rotation. And he said Wade Miley had the lowest ERA with a 3.37. He ended up going somewhere, didn't he?
I'm pretty sure. Yes, he went to the Cubs in division.
A little interdivision movement. Okay.
Yep.
So, yeah, I don't really know what to expect from this team since they got rid of so many of the guys. Maybe they finished 4th in Chicago with a movement that we're going to talk about later in the video, which bumps up to 3rd.
Yeah.
Or I could also see it staying 3rd and 4th, Cincinnati being 3rd. I don't know.
I don't think they'd fall all the way back to Pittsburgh's level,
No,
but I could see the Cubs jumping them, like you were saying, with the moves that some of the moves they've made.
Yeah, I think it'd be a really good matchup between 3 and 4 all year. So that's something to keep.
Yeah, definitely.
Moving on to the next team, you have the St. Louis Cardinals. They finished the season with a 90-72 record, only 5 games back of Milwaukee Brewers. This is a team that I feel like is always like the fundamental team. Like when you were in Little League, there's always that team that was always so fundamental.
Yeah.
They didn't have the guys, except St. Louis kind of has the guys. I just feel like every year they're fundamentally sound. They don't really make any mistakes when you need to.
That's true. Yeah.
Looking at the roster, you have Molina, who's been back there since forever.
Forever.
Paul Goldschmidt, Tommy Edmond, Paul DeYoung, Nolan Arenado. Phenomenal infield. Fielding wise,
Yes.
it's just fantastic. Paul DeYoung did have a down year last year. He only hit 197. He played 113 games. I don't know. What's your take on this lineup?
I really like Arenado, and I thought he had a pretty good season last year in 34 bombs. Obviously, Yadier Molina, as long as I've probably been alive, he's been their catcher, I would think, something like that. Paul Goldschmidt, he had a good season too. He's starting to get old, but man, he had 31 home runs. I think this is a really solid team. I know they did lose Matt Carpenter. He's getting old though and kind of washed, but because he's on the Rangers now, I know that. But yeah, I think this was they had a pretty solid season last year, like you said, finishing second in the division. Couldn't make things happen in the postseason. Obviously, they played a tough team in the Dodgers.
Yeah.
But I think this team will be right up towards the top of the division once again.
Yeah, and something that popped out to me, Tommy Edmond had 30 stolen bags.
Wow.
You see a lot of stolen bases in the game nowadays, but usually when you see 30, that's pretty solid now.
Yeah, that is really solid.
And Tyler O'Neill, we skipped over him somehow, but he had 34 home runs also, so really good breakout season for him.
Yeah.
Other than that,
Pretty good offense.
And I think, if I remember correctly, your picture has Dylan Carlson behind you for Cincinnati.
Yes. Yeah.
He's supposed to be the next thing for him. He's 22, had 18 home runs, batted 266. So definitely a good season for a young guy like that. Looking at the rotation, difference between second and third with all the ERAs here. Adam Wainwright, 305. Him had 346. Flaherty, 322. John Gant, 342. Pretty good rotations, 1 through 4.
Yeah, not bad. Wainwright's been there forever too.
Yeah, he's 39.
He's getting old. But that's still that's good.
It just keeps reinventing himself.
39-year-old.
For sure. Some news from today for this team actually is Andrew Miller announced his retirement.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think it happened this afternoon, probably around 3-ish. Last year, since it was his final season, he had a 4.75 ERA in 40 games. Obviously not what he once was. So I might take that in consideration. I don't really know what else to talk about the St. Louis team other than they're really solid. I don't think they have.
I agree. They're a really solid team. And I don't think they're a fall off any. Unless, something crazy happens. But I expect them to be towards the top of the division once again.
For sure. They're definitely the team that, like I mentioned, fundamentally sound. They're not gonna beat themselves, if that makes sense.
Definitely. Agreed.
So last up in this division is the Milwaukee Brewers. They went 95-67. Really solid team, 1 through 9.
Yeah.
Obviously, the main guy is Christian Yelich. Had kind of a down year, 248. He only played 117 games, though. Someone who had a really solid year, Willie Adames, 285. 20 home runs for the guy, 58 RBI.
99 games, too.
Yeah. So definitely something to look forward to this year if he can put a full year together. Colin Wong came over from St. Louis, really good defender at second base. He hit 272. So this is a team that I feel like relies a lot on this phenomenal pitching rotation, which I'm looking at right now. 3 guys under 3 ERA. That is outstanding.
Very good. Very good.
Brandon Woodruff, 2.56, Corbin Burns, 2.43, and Freddie Peralta, 2.81, all of which started 27 plus games.
Yeah.
And then if you want to look further, you got Adrian Hauser with 3.22 and Eric Flower at 3.19. Plus, what we've been talking about in previous episodes, when you get to playoffs, you want that stout bullpen. They've got it here.
Yeah, they definitely do.
Josh Hader, Evan Williams, who injured himself, so he wasn't there to the second half of the season. Hunter Strickland kind of resurrecting his career from San Francisco. And Brent Suter, even though he had a 3.07, he's still a really good option out of the bullpen. How do you feel about this Milwaukee team?
Man, they're really solid. Up and down, like you said, their lineup and their rotation. Got some really good ball players. Man, I'm still looking at the rotation. I mean, that's just amazing. 3 guys under 3 ERA in the amount of games that they pitched in. I mean, that's the recipe for winning games. And they ended up winning the division. And I know their pitching was a huge part in that.
I think,
and obviously Yelich is a star in today's game. Obviously not playing a full season. So if they could get him playing a full season again, that could be really dangerous.
Yeah. And I mentioned looking at it now, there's only 2 guys that had over 500 plate appearances for this team.
Wow.
That being Luis Urias and Avisail Garcia. Other than that, everyone's under 500, which even more credit to this pitching rotation, keeping them in that 95 win category.
Yeah, that's really impressive.
Looks like they fought injuries all year long. So if you piece together a fully healthy season, this team, very dangerous.
I was looking more in Lorenzo Cain. Is he still there this coming season? Do you know?
I believe he is. I want to say he is. I'm not for sure.
Man, remember when he was the face of the league, it seemed like?
Kansas City.
Yeah, he was so good.
This is arguably the best pitching rotation in the league. Obviously, there's
definitely the best in the division.
Yeah, there's other teams that make a case for it, like the Dodgers and the Mets. I'm trying to think of some AL teams that they have a case for it. There's not really a rotation in the AL that sticks out to me.
Not that I can think of right now.
I feel like AL is a lot of power guys, and NL is like, hey, we got pitching.
Yeah, that's definitely what it is.
Unless you're LA, then you have everything.
Yes, LA has everything and everyone.
4 MVPs on the same roster this year. That is insane.
Crazy. That's insane.
But, yeah, I think this team kind of got the short end of the stick, so to speak, drawing the Dodgers in a wild card game. I mean, you win your division just to go up against a 107 win second place team in their division.
They played the Braves in the DS.
Oh yeah, my fault.
That was Cardinals.
Yep, my fault.
You're good. You're good.
Well, we're not big time. But how did that series go?
They lost 3-1.
At least they ended up losing to the eventual World Series winners.
Yeah, I mean the Braves came in the postseason just hot and just kept rolling, So they were a really dangerous team. Obviously, they ended up winning the whole thing. But yeah, that kind of sucks to play them when they're at their hottest,
Yeah, I think this team makes a lot of noise again this year.
Oh, I agree, definitely. I think they'll definitely repeat and win the division, and I could see them going deeper.
Yeah, for sure. I guess that wraps up the review part of the podcast. So let's talk about the preview part. Pittsburgh, I think we both agree, finishing 5th this year.
Yes.
Not really much to talk about there. I don't think they've really made any moves. I don't think they've really lost anybody either. So, yeah, I feel confident saying 5th place for them.
They got a lot of work to do, building through their farm system, fixing the rotation. It's going to be a little bit before they're decent again, I think.
I agree. And then we move on to Chicago. This could be a 3rd place team, could be a 4th place team. I don't think they finish 5th, and they really don't finish 2nd. They ended up picking up the international prospect, Suzuki, I believe it was his name.
Yeah.
A really big attention around him coming into this year. Be interesting to see how he does, because a lot of those international prospects don't really turn out to be what they seem to be the first year or so. But, maybe they find something. They're able to compete for third place this year.
I think they can get to third with the Reds not doing a whole lot. I think this with Chicago, like you said, with Suzuki, I think they could take that next step and get to third in the division. They're still pieces away from competing for the division title again.
I agree with that. And Cincinnati, obviously, the other piece of that third place, fourth place, they've lost guys. They haven't really added anybody. That's why I'm kind of tossing that third spot up between them and Chicago, because it's how bad did those three guys that produced, I think you said 70 home runs?
Yeah.
You're losing 70 runs at least, not to mention all the RBIs they had. But
that's crazy.
I mean, you got a couple young guys. You still have Votto, but at what point, maybe Votto gets traded this year?
He's also 37. So how much more ball does he have left in him,
He finally joined social media. Found that out. Towards the end of ending his career, maybe he just wants to stay in Cincinnati, be a Red. I don't know. I can see him dropping down to fourth, though, based on this offseason.
I agree. Yeah.
So now we move up to St. Louis. I still have him second place. I don't know if they're a wild card team this year, though. Well, they might be, because they did add that wild card spot, another spot.
Yeah, they did add the extra game.
Because I'm still thinking San Fran, LA, Atlanta, Milwaukee. There's 4. New York, if they can figure out their offense, would be a 5th team. And then it's kind of up to St. Louis, San Diego, and Philly.
Right, yeah.
So since they added that spot, I could see it. If it's still only 5, I wouldn't give it to them. Not really too many major moves. Kind of just kept the boys intact. Yadier's not getting any younger.
No.
Paul Goldschmidt not getting any younger. Nolan Arenado not getting any younger. It's kind of what St. Louis is, though. They just kind of bring them in, go until they're old, send them out, bring new guys in.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think this team quite win the division yet. But I think they can definitely compete again. Like last season, they only lost it. They were only behind 5 games and ended up still making the postseason. So it'll be interesting to see if they can slide into a wild card spot. Like you said, with the extra team in, I could factor into it. I could see it happening, but I don't think they'll win the division.
If I remember correctly, looking at this team from last year, they went on a streak of 19 wins, I think, in a row.
Yeah.
It was insane towards the end of the year. Let me see if I can look at it real quick.
To get them back in the run.
Yeah. So they went from, it looks like 71 and 69 to 88 and 69. So 17 games in a row, just running off dub after dub after dub to get them into playoffs just to face the juggernaut that was the Dodgers.
Yeah.
So
that's an impressive way to end the season, though.
Yeah, if it wasn't for that run, we're looking at Philly or actually Cincinnati in the playoffs as a wild card team.
Yeah, because Cincinnati was only 1 game behind, I think.
They were 83 and 79.
Oh, more than that.
Well, yeah,
7.
St. Louis doesn't go on that 17-game streak.
They were 6.5 games back. But you're right. If St. Louis only wins 8 of those,
yeah, it's different.
It's like really close. Yeah.
What were those teams that they beat in that? Let's see. So yeah, if they didn't make that run, they were looking real bad.
Yeah.
It looks like they beat Cincinnati during that streak, beat the Mets, beat San Diego, beat Milwaukee, beat Chicago Cubs, and then they beat Milwaukee. So they beat quality teams in that stretch.
They took care of their division.
Uh, then I guess New York and San Diego weren't really quality at that time, but still, when you sweep the Reds, sweep the Brewers, and then take 2 or 3 against the Brewers in that time period, that helps out.
Yeah, definitely.
So we both agree second place on this team.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Which leaves us with the reigning division champions, the Milwaukee Brewers. Still first place easily. Pitching rotation, arguably the best in the league. We'll find out this year. If they can just piece together a fully healthy season of that offensive lineup, they could reach 100 wins, I think, especially in this.
I agree. With Yelich only playing, Yelich missed 60 games? 50, 40, something games like that? I mean, he's a really good player. If they can get him a full season,
it looks like make it 45.
45, yeah. I can't do math.
Yeah. I mean, you get him a full year, you get Daniel Vogel back a full year. He's not really an average guy, but he can hit some nukes. Willie Adames, you get him a full year. Jackie Bradley Jr. is gone. Lorenzo Cain, if he's there, I haven't heard him. No Cain.
And their rotation. I mean, they gotta. That's their foundation, obviously.
You're gonna allow maybe 3 runs a game max. So
yeah.
You piece together 4 runs, you're gonna win 90% of your games.
Which is very good.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
Very, very good pitching rotation. Bails this offensive lineup out, I feel like.
Yes, definitely. Especially with all the injuries they had.
It's what the Mets couldn't do.
Yes, that's facts.
So, definitely division winners. I could see them winning 100 games if they stay healthy. I don't know about playoffs. They have the rotation. It's what kind of offense do you get in the playoffs when you're going up against other people's best 3 pitchers as well?
Yeah, that's true. And they ran into a really hot Braves team last year. So, I don't know. We'll see.
NL is really stacked when you get to the playoffs. I don't know if this team can necessarily beat an LA team in the best of 7.
I agree. Yeah.
I think you get them in a wild card game, you potentially could. But I don't think you can beat them in a 7-game series.
Yeah, I agree with that against a crazy team like the Dodgers.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, even looking at their lineup, they only had 3 guys with 20-plus home runs. Willie Adames had 20. Mitchell only played 99 games. So he played quite a few. Luis Urias had 23, and then Avisail Garcia had 29. Yelich only had 9. Yelich had a really down year.
Yeah, he did.
I remember there was a lot of talk early in the year because he had that slow start. I don't know. They're healthy. They could cause some noise. If not, probably another one-and-done series.
Yeah, I can definitely see that, but I definitely think they'll win the division.
Yeah, easily. I don't think St. Louis is there, and none of the other 3 teams are.
Yeah.
So I think Pittsburgh, way down the lineup in 5th. You have a really good battle for 3rd between Cincinnati and Chicago. I wouldn't really call first place a battle. I think Milwaukee wins by 7 games. So, I don't know. Really interesting division, considering that we have that interesting matchup at the 3rd place spot. You have anything else you want to say about this division?
I don't think we've seen too many divisions with a 3-4 teams. You know, the 3rd and 4th teams that are pretty even and could go either way. Not that I remember anyways. But yeah, I think it'll be exciting to see if the Brewers can repeat what they had last year, maybe even get better, what the Cardinals will be like. And then you got the bottom half. Is anyone else going to be better? So it'll be interesting to see.
Definitely looking forward to it, that's for sure. So as we wrap this video up, opening day is exactly 2 weeks from today.
Let's go.
I'm excited.
Yes.
We have one more podcast talking about the divisions where we go through the juggernaut NL West. Dodgers, the Giants, the Padres, and then you kind of got the Rockies who don't really know what they're doing, and the Diamondbacks who are just finishing last.
Yeah.
So next week should be a really exciting episode to talk about at least.
It'll definitely be a fun one. A lot of stuff to talk about with that division.
Yeah, and real quick, if you guys are still watching this, want to give a shout out to y'all. Got our last video up to 50 likes. I think that is a high as far as a week time frame goes. Really thankful for that from you guys watching the videos.
Keep watching. We'd love to have you on as a guest too. Hit us up if you want to come on. Talk about either, we got the March Madness episodes every Tuesday. Thursdays next week we'll wrap up our baseball division previews, and then any other time that you want to come on, we'd love to have you on, talk some sports.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of fun things going on here in the future too. Like you said, we got one episode Tuesday about March Madness, another episode next Thursday about the NL West, and then the final March Madness episode followed up by opening day, where we'll be talking about opening day while watching whatever game ESPN has on at the time.
Yes.
So yeah, reach out to us on Twitter, leave us some comments on our video, subscribe, share this, get this thing to 50 likes again by Thursday.
Yeah.
Insane, dude. That is insane. 50 views.
Yeah, 50 views.
That's crazy. It's like nothing to other guys, but 50 views to us,
that's big for us.
We really appreciate it. So
yes, definitely. Keep it up.
I'm going to try to be more active on Twitter. I know I said that a while. It's just been busy. But baseball season's starting. Kind of easier for me to tweet about baseball than it is other sports. So, yeah. We might have a few other social media things popping up in the future. We'll let you guys know whenever we figure out what we're doing. Got anything else you want to add?
I think I'm good. It's a good episode.
Sure. We'll see y'all next Thursday or Tuesday, actually.
Tuesday.
March Madness. So, yeah. See y'all guys.